The future seems to come at us faster and faster these days, especially within artificial intelligence. Today we're going to talk about some of the super trends that is going to impact the world we are going to live in 2050. With us today we have Lars Tvede, who is kind of an expert in super trends. If you don't know Lars Tvede, I'm going to give you a short introduction. Lars Tvede has written numerous best-selling books on super trends. He's a serial entrepreneur and he's a venture capitalist. Lars has also founded a new company called supertrends.com, and he is here today to tell us a little bit more about super trends.
Hi Daniel, it's a pleasure to be here and I look forward to our talk.
Can you explain to us what a super trend is and why we should be following the super trends?
A super trend is something that is important and which evolves over time. So if you look at in our company Supertrends, we have the history of innovation. It goes back 3.3 million years. We have about 12,000 different innovations described and tagged to each other. So it's a super grid of different things that have been going on. And we can see that, of course, there are some events that are like a one-off. Something happened, there was nothing before it, nothing important comes after it. They are very rare. So the standard situation is that first somebody gets an idea. It's just an idea in somebody's head. They talk about it, they write about it, and then nothing happens. And then later, some other people, maybe the first people, they start working on it, experimentally on a lab scale and so on. And then later it becomes a product or a service, and then later it becomes mainstream. It kind of starts really filling its market potential. And we can see there's been development in this. So first, for physical products, you have a rule that you say 20 plus 20, which is from 20 years from the point where it begins to work on a laboratory scale until it becomes a product, and then another 20 years from it becomes a product until it starts really becoming a mainstream product, as far as there's basis for. On digital virtual products, it's not 20 plus 20, it's more like 2 plus 2. But we can also see that in both cases, the timeline actually get more compressed with a few exceptions. We can see another thing, the rule of 3, which is very often a new innovation is a combination of 3 previous innovations. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but very often 3. So we see that when we look at what our whole history of what stuff is tagged to. So in any case, a super trends is something important that starts with somebody's idea. Somebody then starts working on it, then it gets refined, then it gets applied in the real world in some way. There are lots of these super trends. They tend to get bigger and bigger, and they tend to evolve faster and faster. And it tends to become more and more complicated to have an overview, because there's something called co-evolution. There's super trends in one thing. A super trend in one thing can impact a super trend in another thing, which again depends on one and a third thing, and so on. So this is what we show visually, how all these things are combined.
It seems clear that the super trends will impact our lives even more in the future than they have in the past.